Joining us now via Skype is Call of Duty World League floor reporter and fellow Mixer Studio alum. It's Jess Brohard. What's going on? It's been a while.
Hey, it has been a while. Looks like you found a new home. I'm glad to see that.
Yes, you have also found, I mean, not a new home, but a home that
Yeah.
you have frequent pretty regularly, right? We had actually
Sure.
Maven on the show right before CWL Fort Worth, where
Oh yeah, I
Luminosity.
heard about that.
Yeah. It was pretty dope. You know, that's where Luminosity Gaming defeated Splice for the $125,000 first place prize. So how was your experience at that event?
Oh, it was amazing. I think the great thing about Call of Duty is that you always see a ton of surprises. And I know we're gonna kind of talk about this in a little bit, but it's just always cool to see a huge team like Optic getting taken down. No offense to any Optic fans, but it just keeps it fresh when you don't know what to expect. So I think kind of every open event, I always go in just having no clue what'll happen. So it's always entertaining. And then, Fort Worth was a beautiful city. We had some great food. So it was all around a great experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, you started with CWL during the World War II season, right? And now here we are in a good old Black Ops 4. So how was the initial transition to Call of Duty?
It was great. It was a lot right at first because Jimmy, you and I, when we were together at the Mixer NYC studio, we didn't do anything with Call of Duty, and then I come home and get in with MLG, and immediately I'm just having to get plunged into this whole world that I've never been a part of. I'd never followed the Call of Duty pro scene. I'd only played the games very, very casually, so it was a lot. It was a ton of information to take in, and one of the biggest hurdles for me was just the fact that there's so many players, so many teams, and they have such a long history because Call of Duty has been around for ages. It's one of the longest running franchises in video games. And so there are just so many players out there to kind of familiarize myself with. And, so that was definitely a challenge. But now this is my second season with Call of Duty. I feel like I'm kind of getting the hang of it by now and building a rapport with the players.
Yeah, but it definitely sounds like you're enjoying the whole journey itself, which is great.
Sure.
Even if it's challenging, as long as you're happy, that's the most important thing.
That's the truth.
But the Pro League, it's back after Fort Worth, and week 5 was the start of cross-divisional play. What did you learn from this week?
Oh my gosh, there were so many things that happened this week that were just crazy. Let's see, I brought up, made a few notes of like specifically teams that I wanted to mention. First of all, we see at Fort Worth, we saw Gen G and Heretics just doing not great because before, like a couple weeks ago, before we were doing cross-divisional, Heretics and Gen G were just performing really, really well, especially for, kind of a lesser-known teams that didn't have quite as long of a history as other teams like Optic. And then both, you come into Fort Worth and both Gen G and Heretics just not doing well. I have the standings pulled up right here, and they both placed 7th, 8th, which was just shocking. And then coming into cross-divisional play, again, you just kind of don't really know what to expect, and there's been some crazy things, but it's been a lot of fun to watch.
It's been so much fun to watch. I think the operators and all their abilities as well just make it that much more. I think it's a specialist technically. Okay, all right. But what are you expecting? What are you expecting from the teams moving forward here? Any real surprises that have been popping up, or more of the same, really?
I kind of feel like by this point, a lot of the teams have played each other enough. We've been doing this long enough this season. That we kind of know what to expect. I don't think we're going to see too many more surprises. I mean, again, you never know what could happen, but we're seeing teams like EG just consistently falling off. And then I mentioned Heretics earlier. They're just playing very inconsistently, so we don't really know what to expect out of them. So there's always going to be surprises, but I think for the most part, I don't think we're going to see too many big upsets. I think the way teams have been performing the last, since Fort Worth, I think we're just probably going to see a little bit more of that.
So you've been, obviously, like you said, you've been keeping track of everything going on, but looking ahead to next week, what are some matches that stand out for you?
Oh gosh, I haven't even thought about next week too much, to be honest. There we go. See, because the great thing is, since we are in cross-divisional play, we were doing, half the teams from Division A, of course, and half the teams from Division B now playing each other. And so now we've got the other 8 teams that we haven't seen yet. So, it'll be a whole nother pool of teams that we haven't really seen play since Fort Worth, really. So it's always going to be exciting to see what happens out of 100 Thieves. and on Optic, honestly, I'm really curious to see what Optic's going to do, because they were just so, there's no way they weren't disappointed in what happened at Fort Worth, and that's just got to be such a blow to them. So I'm really interested to see kind of how that'll affect them, if they're going to be able to come back with a vengeance and sort of, make up for their disappointing performance, or if, that's going to let it, if they're going to let it get themselves down, because Call of Duty is a very vibes, oriented game. If your team is not having just good chemistry, and if the vibes aren't there, then a lot of times the slaying power isn't going to be there either. So it'll be really interesting to see what, just what happens with Optic.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch, honestly. It's been so crazy this season, especially since they added another player to all the teams. So even more important is the team chemistry more than ever. Yep. Jess, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, chatting with you again.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure having you on, and hopefully we'll, keep talking.
Have you back on.
Yeah, sometime soon.
Yep. I'd love to.
All right, we'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.